What's up, you guys? Jordan here. Thanks for stopping by the channel once again. Got a nice little fresh haircut. Been drinking these juices. Have you ever tried these? They're called Suja Organic. They're pretty good. I like them. This one's got carrot, orange, pineapple, apple, lemon, turmeric. It's pretty good. Anyways, Fashion Week concluded last week, and there were some shows that I enjoyed, more specifically in the men's fashion or the menswear category. So I wanted to kind of just do a little recap for you if you did not get a chance to check it out. I was also live streaming my reactions to it on Twitch. So if you guys are interested in that, check out the link in the description. You just go follow me on there because I'm gonna be doing a lot more live streaming stuff, whether it's reactions like this. I want to do live streaming when I'm like building my car and working on my car. So go follow me on Twitch, and you know, you can tune in for some live streams and chat and do all that kind of fun stuff. But today I wanted to go over some designers that I enjoyed. Maybe you guys will like them too. Maybe you've heard of them. I didn't really know any of them until I saw the shows. So here we go. Also, keep in mind when you see these runways and you see these fashion shows, not everything here is something that is going to actually be created for other people to wear. A lot of what designers do is to just showcase an artistic viewpoint of how they want their collection to be portrayed in the world, and sometimes a lot of the stuff isn't even something that you are even able to purchase. So keep that in mind when you see these. But the first designer that I really loved was Chelsea Gray's. Not only was the show amazing, but the idea and the philosophy behind it was awesome. It was all about how 2020 was extremely crazy and chaotic and, you know, tearing at the lives and fabric of, if you will, of society, as well as all of the Black Lives Movement activism and stuff like that. So in general, just an amazing, all-encompassing show. But the pieces themselves had a ton of texture, tons of patterns. I loved that they had printed, like, graphic long coats, the plaid. They had cropped sweaters and cropped jackets that looked amazing. And honestly, a lot of what I saw in a lot of these shows was an ode to kind of like colonial era clothing, but with obviously a more modern take on it, which I think is amazing because it just plays into that like vintage aesthetic, that more like antique aesthetic. So I think Chelsea Gray's was amazing. I loved how the pants fit on everything. It was just all in general really good, and you've probably seen a few of the clips on the B-roll right now anyways. So Chelsea Gray's, if you have not you know, seen it, heard of her, now you have. Second up was Federico Sina. I don't even know if that's how you pronounce it, but that's how I feel like you would pronounce it. Now, this show was extremely short, as were the majority of these shows for whatever reason. I'll talk about that at the end. This show was extremely short, but from what I did see from the show, I loved the garments. So I went onto the website and I just saw everything that I thought was absolutely amazing. It was so contemporary, the cuts, the silhouettes, the shapes of the jackets, coats, pants. I love how the pants draped on the body. I love how they fit on the shoes. As you can tell, if you remember from my last video about kind of how I'm transitioning to this new style in 2021, I love how pants kind of have just like this slight break at the bottom, whether they're flared or a little bit more straight or wide-legged. I think it looks amazing, and this designer did it absolutely amazing. The colors were great. I think they just all flowed together effortlessly. Like I said, it was very contemporary, very like editorial-like, but it was also very tailored, drapey, and like the silhouette was just amazing on the people. So it probably wouldn't look good on me, you know, being 5'6" or whatever, but on the models it sure did look good. So Federico Sina, loved it. And last but not least is Stan. Now this is probably gonna be the most controversial one out here, simply because it looks very similar to another brand that I'm sure a lot of you have heard of. I absolutely loved the campaign lookbook, the campaign editorial, the way that everything was shot out on a farm and stuff like that. I think it looked absolutely amazing. But then when I started seeing the pieces, I was like, man, this looks really familiar. So if you could tell from the video, it definitely draws a lot of inspiration from Bode. Now, they both use pretty much the same stuff. I mean, Bode did it first. Now, while I loved the pieces from Stan, I think that they looked absolutely amazing just because I love the vintage touch to things, the antique feel, the quilted looks. I just couldn't help but realize that they just looked so strikingly similar to Bogue. Whether or not that's a good thing, I don't know if he's trying to claim this as his, like, you know, his idea or something like that. But regardless of all that, the pieces did look amazing. The fabrics, the quilted looks and stuff like that did look really good, and I was very drawn to the pieces simply because that's just kind of like my aesthetic. But they both use like fabrics from, like, you know, roughly 100 years ago, 140 years ago, these antique things that you like one-off kind of pieces. But regardless of all that, the show itself was good, the clothing looked great. It's just very similar, so take that with a grain of salt however you will. The price is pretty much exactly the same. So the show was good though, that's why I mentioned it. And honestly, that's pretty much it. Those three were the ones that stood out for me the most. Also because those three were pretty much the only ones that had a campaign or a lookbook or a runway, if you will, longer than 1 minute. I have no idea why brands would go to a fashion week with a digital show that lasts 45 seconds to a minute. I don't know how you could even possibly showcase a whole collection within 45 seconds. That's why I don't even know what these other brands' clothes look like. I didn't even bother to go look at the websites because I didn't even know what I was watching. So that kind of blows my mind. I don't know what the issue with that is, and I don't know. I feel like if you're gonna showcase a collection to people with, you know, prospects of people wanting to buy your clothes, you want to do it for longer than 45 seconds and actually show the clothes too. So I was a little disappointed in that aspect of things, but the shows that I did love and the shows that I showcased here were the ones that I absolutely loved. Chelsea Gray's taking the cake, as well as Federico Sina. So there you guys go. I hope you enjoyed. Like I said, go to my Twitch because I'm going to be doing Paris Fashion Week and Milan Fashion Week. I'm going to try and get some shows in there on the live stream as well, do some reactions to it. And also we had some fun on there, so it's pretty cool. And yeah, I hope to see you guys in the next video, and I'll talk to you guys soon.